Good afternoon, everyone. What's happening, everybody? It's Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live here in the post-calamity election day. The post-bloodbath that was last night. And there's really no way of getting around it. There's really absolutely no way of getting around what all happened last night. Right? A bit like sometimes, you guys ever watch the UFC? A guy gets knocked out, but he's like all kind of banged up, and he's still fighting even though the fight's over. That is what I feel like some people are doing today. I think there are some people in our movement who do not appreciate the fact that a calamity occurred last night. A complete and utter calamity. We're going to break down everything that happened last night and where we all go from here because, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. We're going to dispel some notions because it turns out the only way to fix a problem is to address that there is one. And there is a very, 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 very serious problem with the Republican Party today. A gigantic problem that they are just not addressing. A huge problem that they are, for some reason, choosing to ignore. We're going to get into all of it. Today's going to be one of those not safe for work shows. For the audience out there who may have kids in the room, that's your warning. Because I'm annoyed. I am grotesquely annoyed. By the way, here we go. Remember those predictions I made yesterday? Yeah, here you go. We could throw them right away because they were totally meaningless. Before we get started, guys, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling here in a current, I guess you would say, Mondani America. So we will stay, we will fight, we will rock, we will roll, we will do the things that are necessary. However, New York has fallen. New York has absolutely fallen. We're not going to start there. We're going to end there. We're going to end in New York City because I've got some choice words for some choice people, and I'm going to call them out by name because I'm really sick and tired of useless people. Destroying the hard work of millions. Once again, before we get started, guys, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share the video out all over the place. Before we go, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this program and everything we've got going on because apparently, actually, you probably don't even need to because, I like to go to New York City a lot, and it turns out everything's going to be free. Everything's just going to be free, so don't even worry about it. Don't even go to the website today. Don't subscribe. Don't become a monthly donor. Don't do any of that. Don't buy any of the T-shirts. Don't do any of that because I live outside of New York City, and everything's going to be free. Everything's going to be free. It's going to be absolutely great. It's going to be, I'll tell you what, I'm never paying for the damn subway ever again. That's for damn sure. I'm not going to be the only asshole paying for things in New York City. And that's sort of the way things go. But let's start out in the Commonwealth of Virginia, where, as I said yesterday, I didn't predict a Winsome Sears win. It was significantly worse than we thought. With Winsome Sears losing to Abigail Spanberger. Now, this one, I'll be honest with you, I'm less worried about. Abigail Spanberger is your run-of-the-mill sort of normie Democrat, sort of CIA operative. You're not really going to get, you're going to get the same of what you usually get out of Democrats with a 13-point loss, doubling the total in which I came up with. So, there you go. That's how that ended up going, with Abigail Spanberger obviously picking up major victories in the metros and in Northern Virginia, which were incredibly hit by Doge layoffs, which were hit by the government shutdown. Many people being furloughed. She absolutely blew Winsome Sears out of the water in Loudoun County. In Fairfax County, which is basically all government employees. Prince William County, the same thing. By the way, these are three of the richest counties in America. Abigail Spanberger absolutely blew Winsome Sears out of the water, which is kind of what we expected to happen. Glenn Youngkin was able to pick up a majority of a large portion of the votes, I should say, in Loudoun County in 2021, following that horrific scandal that was broken by the Daily Wire of them basically passing around around a teenage rapist because the person was trans, and then Terry McAuliffe, being the idiot that he was, decided to say that parents have no right to have no say in their children's education. That basically solidified the victory for Glenn Youngkin. Also, Glenn Youngkin was incredibly more liked than Winsome Sears for a myriad of number of reasons. Virginia, of course, a traditionally blue state. No one was really shocked by that. They have 2 Democratic senators. If you look at the map, yeah, you'll see just like most places, the majority of the state is red, controlled by the cities, but it was a complete and utter blowout. Let's move over to Prop 50 in California and what that's going to mean. Prop 50 passed 63-36 in another absolute blowout, giving Gavin Newsom the ability to redraw congressional districts in the middle of the year in order to combat Republicans' attempt to do so in Texas. Absolutely blew it out of the water there. So if we're going to keep up this redistricting fight, every state has to get on board. Because if every state doesn't get on board, then it's just going to be a calamity in the House of Representatives. Let's move over to New Jersey, where, holy shit, did I get that wrong. Wow, did I get that wrong? I predicted Jack Ciattarelli winning by 1.5%, and holy crap, was I not even close. This was absolutely wild. Obviously, the coastal cities came in big for Jack Ciattarelli, but not big enough, with him losing 56-43. A pretty wild statistic, by the way, just in case anybody is curious. This was from, where the hell's Crispy's tweet? Mike Crispy had a very interesting tweet on this, which ought to tell you everything you need to know. Apparently, Jack Ciattarelli got more votes this time, lost by 12, than he did last time when he lost by 3. This is a pretty interesting race. Let's see, where the hell is the tweet? I think Mike took... Oh, there it is. Jack Ciattarelli received more than 122,000 more total votes than he got in 2021. He got more votes than Phil Murphy received when he won re-election 4 years ago. Mikey Sherrill got 500,000 more votes than Murphy. The inner city's historic turnout for an uninspiring candidate like Mikey is quite an anomaly, which he's absolutely correct about. He's absolutely correct. I think that a lot of people were absolutely worried about losing their EBT, losing their benefits, losing their health insurance. The government shutdown had a big effect on pretty much everybody. Now, before we get to the real doom and gloom, which, of course, is New York City, I want to give a big shout-out to the team over in Smithtown for kicking ass and taking names, probably the only shining spot on Long Island last night. Of course, the Smithtown team, I have to give them a big shout-out because I'm a part of it. So, I got to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure everyone who worked on the Smithtown race, what's up, Nikki? I'm pretty sure everybody in the world, I'm pretty sure we were the only happy Republicans in America last night. I think that's in our small corner of the world, I think we were the only people that were actually celebrating. Some people were, meh. But I think we were the only ones that were actually happy. So, turns out if you hire me, you win. What a thought. Now, let's move on to New York City. And I've got a bone to pick with a lot of people. I'm going to try to be delicate here. Because if I were to say everything that I want to say, I'd lose about 3 dozen friends. So this is going to be about a 7. But it's still going to be pretty intense. Firstly, I'd like to give a big shout out to the other candidates who were in the race who weren't running. Of course, that's some guy named Joe Hernandez, Irene Estrada, I don't know who the hell you are, Jim Walden, who I've argued with on Twitter, Eric Adams, by the way, congratulations, conservatives who ran someone named Irene Estrada. You actually got more write-in votes. There were 3 times as many write-ins as there were for the conservative candidate. Well done, everyone over there. Well done, Eric Adams, who was able to poach nearly 6,300 votes in a race he wasn't running in. Very good. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Now, let's get to the man of the hour. 7%. 7.1%. 146,000 votes. Are you shitting me? There's more people at a college football game in Michigan. I'm pretty sure the Ohio State Stadium holds more people than Curtis Lewa got last night. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. Now, I at least thought he would break double digits. But apparently, I don't know. Also, shout out to Curtis Lewa for losing the only red county in the city. And when I say losing, Staten Island. Staten Island, New York is a borough that Republicans can always count on. It's gone for Donald Trump twice and routinely elects Republicans, from Nicole Maliotakis in Congress to their borough president is a Republican. Curtis came in third in Staten Island. Third. The Republican came in third in the only Republican borough. I'm floored. So for all the people out there that were like, yeah, man, don't believe the polls, man. Curtis got a chance, man. You're high. You are quite literally smoking crack. And we all knew it. We all knew it. And there's a bunch of blame to go around. There's the narcissism of the candidate who thought he had a chance, who yelled at people who said that he didn't, like me. There's the narcissism of the people around him who enabled this sort of behavior instead of getting out of the race and giving us a fighting chance. But Kevin, even if you add up all the other votes, Zorhan still wins. You're right. As the election sits now. But if you had every candidate, Eric Adams stopped campaigning. If you had every candidate out there, the three of them bouncing from spot to spot, united in a non-Mondani vote, things could have been different. Could have pooled resources, could have pooled staffs. Who knows? Do we break that 0.5% threshold in order to stop a communist who hates America from running America's biggest city and the financial capital of the world? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. But as I said from the start, if there are three candidates in this race, we're going to lose. And I think everybody knew it. Andrew Cuomo actually overperformed many of the polls, coming in at 41.5%. He did very well. He did very well. Of course, it wasn't enough to overtake the 37-year-old communist who's never had a job. I'm actually blown away. I'm genuinely shocked. It's like shocked but not surprised kind of thing. Like, it's like if you go to a shitty restaurant and then you get food poisoning. Like, I'm shocked that I did, but I'm not surprised that I did. That's the feeling I have right now with New York City. As somebody wisely pointed out to me about an hour ago, perhaps New York City has to physically be set on fire. Perhaps we have to let these people destroy themselves before we can rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Maybe things have to get as bad in New York City as they did in the 1980s, in the late 70s and into the 80s, before it was cleaned up. Perhaps we haven't hit rock bottom yet. Although I am of the mind, and I some people may agree with me on this, I don't know if we're coming back from this one. Because look, you can clean up a dirty city. You can clean up a dirty city. You can. You can get the addicts off the street. You can even arrest all the criminals. What you can't do is institutionally change, is re-change the institutions that will be different forever. Will be different forever. The exit polling coming out is absolutely out of control, with 82% of women under the age of 30 voting for Zoran Mondani in one of the most insane things. The demographic polling in this New York City race is mind-blowing. Native-born New Yorkers broke for Andrew Cuomo by 65%. The exact same number of non-native-born New Yorkers, foreigners, voted for Mondani by over 80%. So it turns out, if New York was still filled with New Yorkers, we wouldn't have this guy. But you import the third world, and then you get the third world. It's not shocking. We showed you Palestinian activist Linda Sarsour on yesterday's show, one of the worst people in America, saying that this was all choreographed. It was all planned. Some of us have been trying to wave the flag over here for months about this, and then some of us had our heads in the sand. And one of those people who had their head in the sand is Van Jones. Van Jones, who always goes on CNN and appears to be completely befuddled. He appears to be completely confused. What the hell's going on here? Because my Facebook's not connecting. I don't know what's happening with that. He appears to be completely confused. If you guys are watching this on another platform, head on over to the Rumble page. It seems to be working fine over there. They head on over. People appear to be... Van Jones is completely confused by this, despite the fact that we knew it was coming. Zoran gave a ridiculous speech last night about all the people he plans to go after. And once he did, Van had a bit of befuddlement with it.
I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think that Mamdani is the one you need to hear from tonight. There are a lot of people trying to figure out, can I get on this train with him or not? Is he going to include me? Is he going to be more of a class warrior, even in office? I think he missed a chance tonight to open up and bring more people into the tent. I think his tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like it was a little bit of a character switch here, where the warm, open, embracing guy that's close to working people was not on stage tonight, and there was some other voice on stage. That said, he's very young, and he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. And I wouldn't write him off, but I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight, and I think that will probably cost him going forward.
He might be one of the stupidest people on the planet. Of course, you saw at the very end of that clip, Scott Jennings, when Scott gives you one of these, you know that there is going to be calamity coming back right afterwards. Wait, time out. So you mean to tell me the guy who was photographed with the 1993 World Trade Center bomber, planner, financier, call it whatever you will, I see somebody in the chat. You wouldn't have been better with Cuomo. Yes, we would have. Yeah, we would have. Yes, we would have. Would we have been better with... Oh, we wouldn't have been better. We would have been better with him. Exceedingly better. But he killed all the old people. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. That would have been... Andrew Cuomo... I'm sorry. Any person that I'm not even looking at the Rumble chat right now because there's more people in that. But if you tell me that things are going to would have been the same with Zoran Mondani as mayor that they would have been with Andrew Cuomo, I have to ask, were you beaten on your head as a child? I got to ask. I can't even read that. Things are going to get so much worse. And, of course, Scott Jennings decided to have a little bit of fun at the expense of Van Jones, who's very, very dumb.
Scott?
Oh. Are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago?
He doesn't know what to say.
Where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the... Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this... No, I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them.
Yeah,
I work here. So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote. No problem too large for government to solve.
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech, and he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed. And he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
The oppressed. That's right. The Nepo baby who's never had a job in his life is one of the oppressed people. You, the hardworking union worker out there, you're the oppressor. Guys, this story doesn't end well. This story doesn't end well. Just ask all the kulaks in Russia. But it's important to remember, guys, that all of this was planned. They had boots on the ground from all over the country. And I can't tell you how many comments I've received in the last, 16 hours. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, you could try getting off your fat fucking ass and getting involved in a campaign. You could try doing that. You give that a whirl. You could volunteer on a Saturday for a campaign. You could try that. What are we going to do? No one's coming to save us. Yeah, you're right. Nobody's coming to save you. So save yourself. Get involved. Embrace the levers of power and embrace the ability to do things. It is shocking to me, the amount of people who will complain when elections don't go their way. And then Danny Gershowitz, what's volunteering on a Saturday going to do? It's called get out the vote efforts. It's called knocking on doors. It's called making phone calls. That's why in the town of Smithtown, we were able to kick ass against one of the worst people on planet Earth because we established what's called a ground game. That's what politics is about. It's about getting votes from the couch to the polling location. Picking up old people to drive them to the polls because perhaps they can't get there themselves. That's what it is. Now, look, I want to be clear about a few things. Everyone's going to sit there and they're going to say, but Kevin, I'm one vote. I'm one vote. What is one vote going to do? What is one vote going to do? Well, in just a second, I'm going to show you exactly what one vote can do. Before we get to that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? My favorite time of year, fall.
Oh, I love the leaves. I love the autumn smell. I love the pumpkins. I love it all right before the snow flies. But what I don't love that comes with the cold weather and the fall weather is the flu, are the sniffles, the cold. All those common cold sniffles that you get every year. And if you have kids in the house, little kids going to and fro school, and they're coming back and they're touching everything and they're bringing the bacteria and all those viruses home from school, you don't want anything to do with that. You want to be proactive rather than reactive. That's why we're going to talk about propolis today. You know what propolis is? Well, ladies and gentlemen, propolis is what works as a barrier to keep the beehive absolutely safe. And what am I talking about? Well, Beekeepers Naturals. Now, my wife really turned me on to this. This is an endorsement of my wife and then myself as well. Beekeepers Naturals, folks, that is exactly what this is. This is a proactive rather than a reactive, all natural, all clean alternative to big food and big pharma. You've got your Beekeepers vitamin C packs, which are perfect for on the go, right? You've got your Beekeepers Propolis nasal spray. A few shots up the nose, clears out your nostrils, cleans any congestion that you have, and it's all natural, and it's going to work as a proactive barrier to any of that unwanted bacteria getting in. How about the Beekeepers All Natural Propolis Immune Throat Spray? 3 or 4 pumps of that a day, and anything that you're breathing in is going to be either repelled or killed right away. That's the amazing thing about propolis, and that is the amazing thing about Beekeepers Naturals. And I got a 20% discount for you. What's better than that? 20% discount. Look, you can even get the throat soothing pops and the kids prebiotic fiber pops, along with the throat spray, along with the nasal spray, along with the vitamin C packs. Folks, they've got it all, and it's an all-natural, clean, beautiful option for you to have in order to, get away from the big food, get away from the big pharma, and go more natural, especially with a 20% discount. How can you not go to Beekeepers Naturals today /LFA and get your 20% discount? Clean out your medicine cabinet today with beekeepers.com /LFA. And now back to the show.
By the way, I'm finding out that apparently some people in the chat didn't like that I said to get off your lazy ass and get involved in campaigns. Some people didn't like that. I don't really care. Because what's one vote going to do? What's one vote? Oh, you want to know what one vote's going to do? Here you go. Why don't you let me show you what one vote's going to do? Here's a town on Long Island right here that's separated by 21 votes. By 21 votes. Need more? Here we go. Let's keep going. Here is let's go to. Let's keep moving here. I'm just using the races here on Long Island. I'm just using these. Oh, look, here we go. Here's my friend, legislator Stephanie Bontempi, who won her election by 380 votes, securing our county's legislative majority, stopping the radical Democrats from taking charge. What's one vote going to do? You could just say you don't want to get involved, that you got better things to do. It's totally okay. Because I got news for you. The Democratic Socialists of America have never said, what's one vote going to do? Their motto is, let's go get one more vote. That's what their motto is. And that's why they are sweeping communities near you. That's why they are sweeping through communities near you. That's why people out there, literal terrorist supporters like Hassan Piker, who revels for the days of the Soviet Union, revels for the days. This is, of course, Cenk Uyghur's nephew, can be at a victory party in the financial capital of the world and say a sentence like this.
Done.
What do you think it means that this guy ran as a socialist and anti-communism didn't work to stop him? That's big.
Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness in the United States of America. It's one of the things that I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this, the conditions have deteriorated so much that everyday Americans, in spite of their lack of class consciousness, are finally arriving at the conclusion that perhaps there is an alternative out there. There is an alternative that focuses on them as opposed to the interests of the billionaires and the millionaires, as opposed to the interests of the capital owners. And I mean, you can't help but notice that. You can't help but feel at least a little bit of excitement around that.
And also the significance.
I want to be clear, there's the only person in history who might be more useless than Hassan Piker is, of course, Karl Marx himself, as he directly quotes the book. So what's one vote going to do? Well, if each one of you go out and get one vote, that's tens of thousands of votes. That's the message that people like myself and Scott Pressler and activists all over the country have been trying to instill in people left and right. Everything. Apparently some people didn't like that I used some naughty words. Well, I really don't give a shit. I really don't care. You know why? Because my city is done. It's over with. All the capital will be leaving. They're all going to go. And if you live somewhere else in the country, I'm sure you'll do very well. If you're an investment banker living in Florida, you just know Goldman Sachs is coming down the pike. You'll do very well. It is shocking. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Because despite this con man taking over New York City, we've got tough guys in Congress like Steve Scalise. We've got tough guys who are going to send out strongly worded letters and wag their finger.
Anybody wait to see what those free buses are going to look like? I'm sure they're going to be incredibly safe and clean when you ride the free buses. Can anybody wait to see what those government-run grocery stores are going to look like? Shelves unstocked, expired food. I'm sure the friendliness of those employees that are government employees at those grocery stores. That's what socialism does. Socialism always overpromises and underdelivers.
Oh, boy, Steve Scalise. I bet you got them shaking in their boots. Sure, the top cop in the state of Virginia now hopes that your children are murdered and bleed to death in your arms. But I've got a tried and true line made by some lobbyist that socialism always overpromises and underdelivers. The Republican Party, I mean this, the Republican Party is full of pussies, just the biggest bitches I've ever seen in my entire life. None of them have any fight in them whatsoever. Anytime anyone tries to get a little bit oh, we can't do that. No. We can't do that. We can't get a little bit aggressive. No. Because the New York Times editorial board might say something negative about us. Never mind the fact that some Democrat just got elected in Pennsylvania, some tranny who's calling for shooting federal agents. You got that right. Democratic trans activist wins a mayoral race in Pennsylvania who has suggested armed violence against government workers. I foresee pushback from an armed citizenry in the future. The Second Amendment was very clear that weapons are meant to protect against a tyrannical government. That's right. Some tranny activist who just got elected to Congress, that just got elected to a mayor's seat in Chester County, Pennsylvania, thinks that we should be shooting federal agents who are coming in and scooping up ICE. But remember, Steve Scalise, you're the tough guy. You're the tough guy. Sure, you could walk into any deli in America and nobody would have any idea who the hell you are while you charge $50,000 for a speaking appearance. I am so sick and tired of the cowards that run this party. Any word from Michael Whatley, by the way? Michael Whatley? Anybody see him? Oh, no, that's right. He's too busy running his own race as the head of the Republican National Committee to give a shit about the rest of the people that live in this country. Sure. But remember, guys, both sides Sure, this new Democratic mayor in Chester County, Pennsylvania, wherever the hell that may be, called for shooting federal agents. Sure, the new attorney general in Virginia wants to see your children murdered. Sure, we all just watched somebody kill Charlie Kirk in front of his family. Sure, but remember, guys, both sides. I am so sick and tired of people who don't understand what is happening. We are on the cusp. We may be in the middle of a violent revolution in this country from the radical left, and I still have to see dickheads going on Fox News going, well, Article 3, Section 4 of the Constitution clearly states that we are... Bro, you're getting the shit beat out of you. Fight back. Fight back. If you're in a boxing ring with Mike Tyson and he's knocking you out and you pull out the rule book and start reading it, how's that going to end? How's that going down? And I want to be clear with you, the Democratic Socialists of America, they have infiltrated every suburban neighborhood, every urban neighborhood, every rural neighborhood in this country. They have boots on the ground. They have money. And meanwhile, I got people tuning out of this show because I said that they should get off their asses and get involved in a campaign. It's a republic if you can keep it, is the famous line. And we ain't doing shit to keep it. And there are some people out there who will continue to say, Kevin, Virginia's blue and Jersey's blue and New York is blue. California's blue. We knew this was going to happen. If that's you, you're part of the problem. Because we didn't just lose. We got blown out. In just a second, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if this happens in the midterms. And I've got a feeling you're not going to like the answer you're going to get.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com, and consider opening up an account today, guys. Old Glory Bank, the bank that supports your privacy, your liberty, and your security. Head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. So, let's talk about what happens if this continues. This is the part you're going to want to write down, okay? You ready for this? You ready for this? Let's play a little game here. Senate seats in 2026. Let's play a little game here, okay? Who's ready? Everybody good? Everybody good? Great. Here we go. So, if this trouncing, which is what it was, a landslide, a mollywop, whatever you want to call it, if that happens in 2026, Democrats will retake the House. They will. And we'll get countless impeachments over and over and over again. The government will be all but shut down because Speaker Hakeem... I got to tell you, and to be honest with you, since I'm bringing him up, part of the worst part of losing last night was listening to that asshole, Hakeem Jeffries, singing about it. But I digress. If we lose the House, which we only have a 3-seat majority, so that's entirely possible, there'll be impeachments all day, and Speaker Jeffries will do everything he possibly can to thwart the Trump agenda. But there's an even worse scenario. There's an even worse scenario. There is a large faction of the Senate Republicans, most of the people over the age of 70, who don't like Donald Trump. They want the world to go back to the way things were. And they want MAGA to go away. They want neocons to fund every war on planet Earth. People like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, and people like Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley. People that would just much rather see this all go away. People who are on their way out anyway. People who are on their way out anyway. Some states, like North Carolina, Maine, are incredibly flippable from Republican to Democrat. Perhaps Ohio as well. If Democrats pick up a couple of Senate seats, which is not out of the realm of possibility, with someone like Mitch McConnell retiring, with someone like Jody Ernst retiring, with Tom Tillis retiring, with maybe not Tommy Tuberville, Dan Sullivan, he's up this year. If Democrats pick up 53 seats in the Senate, 54 seats, all they would need is a couple of Republicans to flip, a handful, to remove President Trump from office. He'd be the first president ever removed. And then where do we stand? So for the people out there who are like, this is no big deal, you need to stop listening to them. I don't care who they are. Last night was a calamity. And for the people that are choosing, people are going out of their way to not understand that. They're going to find themselves in peril. And we can do all the messaging we want. We've given everyone the thanks. We've tweeted and we've posted and we've been on TikTok. We've been out in the streets. We need more of you. We need more of you to get involved. You got to understand this. This is not like a downer type show that I'm trying to scare people or something. But it's real. Let's just go through the Republican senators where there could be flips in 2026. Dan Sullivan only won by 4 points. Jody Ernst only won by 1.5. Susan Collins only won by 1 point. Tom Tillis didn't get 50%. John Cornyn in Texas, a state that Democrats have been trying to flip for years, only won 53% of the vote in his last election. Keep telling me that this is not going to happen, because that's exactly when things like this end up happening. Do you need any more proof of that? Do you remember that lady Hillary Clinton who chose not to go to Michigan because she had it in the bag? How'd that go? How did that go? What else is important to understand? And this drives me absolutely insane. It's fraud. It's the machines. No, it isn't. Unless you can show me some proof, stop making ridiculous claims. Curtis Sliwa, the Republican in New York City, got 7% of the vote. Unless you're going to look me in the eye, and say that the Democratic Party stole 1.7 million votes in a place that's 9 miles long. And I hope you do, because then I know you're a crazy person. Then I know you're nuts. You're insane. Of course, that's the Zorhan and Cuomo combination, 1.8 million votes. So unless you want to tell me that there are 1.8 million pieces of paper out there that all got sent through the mail and we can't find one of them, when people lose an election and then they just yell fraud, it makes them sound insane. And look, there are a lot of people out there who have made great careers off doing that. Great careers. I am not one of those people, and I will not be. Unless you can show me some evidence, I don't want to hear it. It's wild stuff. The amount of complacency I've seen over the last half a day has been quite outrageous. And a lot of people should have lost that didn't end up losing. They squeaked by the hair on their ass. If the institutions don't change, the results are going to. There's no other way to say it. And if they're not going to build it out, then we'll build it out ourselves. We'll be back in just a second. Here's Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. Somebody in the chat said, I'm acting really defeated today. I am because I think that people don't understand the gravity of this situation. I don't think people truly understand how bad last night was. Look, we were probably going to lose New York. We were definitely going to lose New York because arrogant narcissists who were famous 45 years ago can't see the light. We were always going to lose New York. We were probably going to lose Virginia. Let's be honest, we were probably going to lose New Jersey. But the margins that were lost by, the voter turnout that came out, as someone who does this for a living, was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, it was Jack Chitterelli. I said it at the top of the show. The guy got 100,000 more votes and lost by 10% more. Mikey Sherrill pulled out 500,000 more votes out of the cities. And look, I've long said that I think Democrats kept the government shut down to inflict as much pain as humanly possible on people in order to win this election. Absolutely, I think they did. I think the government will probably be reopened by the end of the week, if not the start of next week. But it's bad. It's really, really bad. CLRV, mail-in ballots. Okay. Yeah, that's right. They mailed in 2 million ballots in New York City. That's what they did. I mean, we can't find one of them, but it was definitely the mail-in ballots. Sure, there were 2 million pieces of paper. 2 million pieces of paper. Can't find one of them, but you've got the answer. You've got the answer. Exactly, Callie. Too many Republicans had the attitude that it wasn't going to go their way, so why bother? And then we got crushed down ballot. That's exactly what happened. It's wild stuff. Wild stuff. Guys, we got a couple minutes left. We are going to keep rocking and rolling here. If you were watching on Facebook, I don't know what the hell happened. Something glitched out today. So make sure you guys head on over to rumble.com/ either LFA TV or Loud Majority, and we'll play a little game here. Hey, and follow this page. You never miss out. There you go, guys. If you'll do me a favor and click that follow button in the chat, that's my personal page. It really does help me out. But while we're waiting, I'm be running a little over today. Hannah's on her way back in. Do me a favor, guys. Head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV store. And while you guys were there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at LFA TV. That's how we keep the lights on over here. We really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate it, guys. Once again, lfatv.us. It's lfatv.us. And look, now, there were some liberal trolls out there going, look at MAGA freaking out over the law. Yeah, because the first step to fixing a problem is recognizing that there is one. And if you stick your head in the sand and you think that nothing happened because some places we pulled out wins over the course of the last several days, you're on drugs. You're on drugs. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. As a matter of fact, things are getting so bad that we are already seeing resignations out of New York City. A Jewish FDNY commissioner hands in his resignation letter after Mamdani is elected mayor. New York City's fire commissioner, Robert Tucker, handed in his resignation first thing on Wednesday, just one day after Zohran Mamdani was elected. Tucker, a Jewish philanthropist and businessman, will step down from his role he held for just over 12 months on December 19th. He'll go back to running his private security firm, TM, which he headed before joining Mayor Eric Adams' administration, sources say. So this guy who ran a private security company decided to leave his $1 million business, his Uber millions and millions of dollar business, to serve as a commissioner on the FDNY. A noble position, to say the least. Yep, our first resignation of a high-level leader in New York City. Guys, it's been like 16 hours. 4 years. And I promise you, look, as a guy that likes to go to really crappy areas and film content for Twitter, it's going to be great for us. I'm just going to ride on a New York City bus and get footage of a pregnant lady shooting heroin between her toes. It'll be great social media content. Not for the people who live there. Maybe I'll get video of 2 homeless people having sex on the 4 train on the way to the Yankee game. At least I put on a show for us. And New York will continue to be the laughingstock of the country. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Because if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. That's the motto. Wild. Wild stuff. So, for example, how will this affect Elise Stefanik's race next year? Well, look, it's gonna have a two-pronged effect, I think. I think it's going to negatively impact it because a lot of people are going to leave. But I think it will also motivate people moving forward. It'll motivate a lot of those independents in the city to cross over and vote for Elise. This is what I mean. I'm so, who's that? G5ers. Hey, if you got a plane, let me know. G5ers on Rumble wants to know how this is going to affect Elise Stefanik, and I think this is critical. Because this is why I was talking about this having to be a two-way race in New York City. Independents will break our way. Let's see, what do we got? What was the final vote total? Andrew Cuomo got, 850,000 votes. 850,000 votes. Those 850,000 votes, combined with Curtis's 150,000, those million votes will go directly to Elise Stefanik in 2026. Directly to Elise. And if we're able to peel off 5% of the outer boroughs, I think we're in good shape. But it's going to take the work. It's going to take people to stop posting memes on Facebook and actually get active and actually get involved. I think that's what it's going to do. I think that is what we're going to have to do. And unfortunately, well, actually, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I think that we will regroup, reload, and come back stronger than ever. I think we will. But only if we're willing to put in the work. I was fired up today. Wild stuff. We're going to be hanging around for a couple more minutes, guys. Before we do that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? My favorite time of year. Fall. Oh, I love the leaves. I love the autumn smell. I love the pumpkins. I love it all right before the snow flies. But what I don't love that comes with the cold weather and the fall weather is the flu, are the sniffles, the cold. All those common cold sniffles that you get every year. And if you have kids in the house, little kids going to and fro school, and they're coming back and they're touching everything and they're bringing the bacteria and all those viruses home from school, you don't want anything to do with that. You want to be proactive rather than reactive. That's why we're going to talk about propolis today. You know what propolis is? Well, ladies and gentlemen, propolis is what works as a barrier to keep the beehive absolutely safe. And what am I talking about? Well, Beekeepers Naturals. Now, my wife really turned me on to this. This is an endorsement of my wife and then myself as well. Beekeepers Naturals, folks, that is exactly what this is. This is a proactive rather than a reactive, all natural, all clean alternative to big food and big pharma. You've got your Beekeepers vitamin C packs, which are perfect for on the go, right? You've got your Beekeepers Propolis nasal spray. A few shots up the nose, clears out your nostrils, cleans any congestion that you have, and it's all natural, and it's going to work as a proactive barrier to any of that unwanted bacteria getting in. How about the Beekeepers All Natural Propolis Immune Throat Spray? 3 or 4 pumps of that a day, and anything that you're breathing in is going to be either repelled or killed right away. That's the amazing thing about propolis, and that is the amazing thing about Beekeepers Naturals. And I got a 20% discount for you. What's better than that? 20% discount. Look, you can even get the throat soothing pops and the kids prebiotic fiber pops along with the throat spray, along with the nasal spray, along with the vitamin C packs. Folks, they've got it all, and it's an all-natural, clean, beautiful option for you to have in order to, get away from the big food, get away from the big pharma, and go more natural, especially with a 20% discount. How can you not go to Beekeepers Naturals today /LFA and get your 20% discount? Clean out your medicine cabinet today with beekeepers.com /LFA. And now back to the show.
Now, look, I know I'm fired up today. I know I am. But it reminds me of that old Michael Jordan line. You have to hate losing more than you like winning. And that's what I do. I hate losing. I hate losing particularly when it could have happened. When it didn't have to happen the way it did. Were we fighting uphill battles the entire time? Absolutely. But there are steps that could have been made by the people in power to make these situations better. And for some reason, people are choosing not to do that. The activists can only go so far. We're waiting Hannah Faulkner to come on. Kev, give them your name on X. Everybody wants my name on X. Kevin _Smith45. Yeah, give me a follow over there on X for sure. Guys, give me a follow. That's what is that? X.com/Kevin _Smith45. Boom. I even gave you the link. Look at that. Giddy up. Let's go. Giddy up, let's go. I want to thank everybody for sticking with me throughout the day here. Some people did drop off because apparently I was very strident today, as that woman in Tennessee said to me. I was incredibly strident. Dotsky, you got it right. Scott Pressler can't do everything. Scott can do a lot, but he can't do everything. Once again, guys, we are I'm just filling in for a couple minutes, running over for Hannah Faulkner. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. I really don't. Look at this. All the follows are coming in on X. I like that. I like it a lot. Giddy up, let's go. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out everywhere. We always appreciate the support. Alrighty, guys. Hannah is about to jump on. So I'm going to drop this live chat real quick. There we go. Should be coming on any minute now. Let's see. Bing, bing, bing. Go. There we go. Hannah's coming up right now. Go. Guys, once again, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. I really do appreciate the support, guys. And for everybody who actually is out there working, thank you very much. It means a lot to everybody. Until tomorrow, everybody, stay loud.